All right, friends, today we are going to be making a square patch inspired by Libs Elliot. You will need to go get one square, a large square, one large triangle, and two smaller squares. The colors don't really matter for this case. You can pick a variation of orange or a variation of whatever color we're working with today. Just remember, one large square, one large triangle, and two smaller squares. To get started, once you have your supplies, you are going to make a design for your patch. You can keep the shapes as they are and not cut them, or you can decide to cut them for your patch. If your patch looks something like this, it is perfectly fine and you can glue these shapes down to your square. Or you may decide that you want to cut some of your shapes. We need to keep the shapes that we cut looking like the shapes that Libs Elliot would have in her artwork. And she has a lot of squares and triangles. So try to keep it in that realm. We're not cutting circles, just mainly squares and triangles. Once you've cut some of your shapes, then you can decide on your design using the new shapes that you have cut. You can figure out how you want them to go. Once you have made your design that you like, then you can decide to cut it or glue it down. So I kind of like this design that I've made here. You're gonna have to remember how each of these shapes went. You will use a glue stick, flip the shapes over, glue the back of them, and then carefully press them down and give them a nice massage to put them in place. If you decide on your design that you have a piece, let's say you have a piece sticking off of your design, you can decide to glue part of it down, but just remember at the end, you will have to trim that off because we want our main patch to be square in order for all of the pieces to fit together on the school-wide collaborative mural. Massage. Okay. So, something I do not want to see. This patch is fine. Maybe you have a patch that looks something like this. This is perfectly fine. Maybe you have a patch that looks something like this. This is perfectly fine. I do not want to see circles. I do not want to see torn pieces of paper. I don't want to see paper sticking up because that might get ripped off if it's in the hallway. And I don't want to see pieces hanging off of the edge. You would have to trim that away. So no, we're not making this, but we are making a patch that looks something very similar to the artwork of Libs Elliot. When you're done, you do not have to put your name on it, but you will give it to your number 2 during cleanup, and the number 2 will take it over to the art box.